Hey Bianca, it's Michelle. I happened to notice your video. It came up as a related video, and I happened to notice the title. I understand that you've had this video out for a while, but the timing was interesting that I happened to notice it because just a couple of days ago, I was at the prison. I showed up to visit the inmate that I visit with, and it turned out after first they couldn't find her for a long time, and then finally they found out that she was in a special isolation area because she had had a nervous breakdown, which they told me meant that I was not going to be able to see her, which was actually really bad news because it's an hour to drive there, it's an hour to come back, and I only get to see her about once a month. So that was very disappointing, but it turned out that I was able to see her. They made a few phone calls, and they checked. Somebody really went the extra mile for us to get this handled, and so I did get to see her, and it turns out that the reason she was in this isolation area from the nervous breakdown is because all kinds of people were telling her that when they would hear God speak to them, they would audibly hear the voice of God, and this was numerous people telling her this. Now, of course, we know that people with schizophrenia will hear voices, and there's an abundance of people that are in prison that have a variety of different kinds of mental illnesses. And unfortunately, when you're in that sort of environment, people are you're only influenced by the people that are there. You don't have anyone from the outside that is trying to give you a different perspective. So I was really thankful that I was able to sit down and talk with her about this, about God's voice, about how God speaks to us. So I discussed with her about, how God speaks to us with that still small voice, and how He does, through our conscience, speak with us all the time. But I explained to her that in all the years that I've been a Christian, I've never once audibly heard a voice, from God, claiming to be God. And we take these things for granted, but it goes to show you just how devastating it can be for people to be thinking that they must hear a voice in order to hear from God, because this poor girl had a terrible nervous breakdown because so many people were convincing her that she could not possibly be a Christian because she had not heard God's voice. So I was just very thankful that I was able to reassure her, and after the end of our 2-hour visit, she was so happy, and she was just like a weight had been taken off of her shoulders. She had been crying when I first saw her, and after 2 hours, she was laughing, and she just kept saying she felt so much better, and she was relieved. And you did a great video, and I just imagine that you've probably done the same thing for a lot of people here on YouTube. You've probably given them a lot of relief. There's probably people out there that are questioning things like that. So God bless you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.